Previously on Homebrew to Detritus.
When were you first introduced to fake pee?
When I was a child, and I found out that hunters used it.
Tink 69 is what it's called.
Is that what that is?
That's not fake.
Tink 69 is dough and heat urate. What you are facing is what is known as a blood golem.
That's awesome.
Every
This one
bit of
seems-
information I get, I'm sharing, by the way.
This one seems a bit different than normal, but you do know that it has the power to drain blood from its victims. It's a construct. This one seems a bit different. There's some intelligence there you normally don't see with golems. They normally need to be controlled by something, but this one seems to be acting of its own accord.
Don't make me kill us all. I will. This needs to be done.
She does not seem like she is going to stop casting that spell.
All right, well, then I reach for my tinderbox. I'm sorry. But
Storian lights the tinderbox and drops it. Everything slows to a crawl. Her spell doesn't quite go off in time. Those of you on the boat in the middle can't quite see what she can see, so you can just hear this conversation that Dorian's having. His inflection's a little different than the Dorian you've been talking to. There's a hint of an accent in there, one that maybe Vladros remembers. The lighter or the match hits the trail and the sparks begin to follow over to the tub. There's a huge explosion. And we'll see you for episode 51.
Oh, wouldn't that
Good. It's a good
we're
cliffhanger.
leaving that all as a super long episode 50?
Yeah, that long episode
Awesome.
50, I think that's what we'll do, yeah.
Extended.
That's cool. Extended episode. I really hope you didn't kill my brand new character.
I really hope I didn't.
I kind of hope you did.
I'm hoping evasion saves me somehow.
I'm saying game over, new campaign. Happy.
Believe so.
Everybody say a word.
Hi there.
Where?
Oh,
yeah.
Hello.
Oh, we're at noobs class again.
Was it
Yay.
everybody saying a word?
I don't
You all
know.
said it at once. Scared me.
No. Okay.
well,
What?
you didn't specify who to say a word,
I
so
didn't.
we all did.
Y'all all went into a weird demonic harmony.
Mm.
Oh.
Aw.
Well, that's how you truly summon the evil demons.
I think that's the sounds your characters are all making after that last episode.
I mean, that's
yeah.
what RPGs are all about. Satanism.
I think it was our characters were all making the sound of more of a splat.
And probably
You do
some.
not know what an explosion is?
Well, our bodies go splat due to the explosion.
The only
Or
explosion,
the
Explosion, how
I
that
guess.
shockwave of the explosion.
You ever put a firecrackers in a toad's mouth? That's what it's like. No, I'm kidding.
don't do that.
I've never done that. I've never done that.
I've never done that, but I can only imagine.
I knew. I
Roll that
yeah, I
clip.
Ball. Yes! That was cool. Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, check it out, butthead. Mrs. Higgins' poodle.
And then we say, welcome to season 2.
Okay.
Season 2.
All right, let's go season 2. I think
Season
50
2?
episodes and that big Cliffy. It's a good way to just end a season.
That
I like
episode
it.
gave me a Cliffy.
Oh, raging Cliffy.
That's a. What the hell?
is that like an
How is it
erection?
a Cliffy?
Is that like a
I can understand
Because you can hang off it.
No, it's like an erection brought on by erotic pictures of John Ratzenberger.
Your
I
references
know
are
who
as
that
old as you are.
God, I hope eventually somebody watches this show that gets your references, Terrence.
You never watched Cheers? Fuck you.
Sure, I watch Cheers. I don't know their fucking names. I don't even know their fictional names. That's how old
Ted
Cheers are.
Danson.
I just know the
Ted
theme
Danson.
song.
No.
I mean, everybody knows the theme song.
Everybody knows your name.
Linked.
So we've
I
done
just know Norm. That's it.
we've done 50 episodes now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
is
the
this
fact
50?
that you're starting season 2 after 50 and before 52 bothers the shit out of me.
Honestly, a
Good.
55 should be the 1 year anniversary. Didn't you guys upload 3 episodes at once?
Hey, shh.
Oh, sorry.
We did, but we also did some Troika one shots that we sandwiched in there. So we're somewhere around. We're getting close to the year mark, which is in August for us, I think.
Oh, okay.
This is our damn show, so we
Okay,
can call
okay.
it end of the season anytime we
We
want,
want
to.
to. We can end the season last week and start a new season this week. It makes no sense, but people who are watching week to week now don't have to wait a year and a half like they do with Netflix, because Netflix just shits their show at you all at once. You watch it in 3 days, then you wait 2 months to see if it's going to have a second season. And then if it doesn't get canceled, they're like, we're going to start filming in 6 months. And you're like, fuck you. I'm going to forget what it was I watched because you're going to do that to me 20 more times.
Yeah, now I got to watch fucking The Witcher again before December. December.
Oh, yeah, but that's going to be
That's
fun
the
to
plan.
rewatch.
That's the idea.
Aren't they also
I'm excited.
coming out with an animated Witcher as well?
I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe.
there's a
Nightmare
trailer
of
for
the
that
Wolf,
with,
I believe, something like
yeah.
that.
For what's his face? Vesemir. It's a Vesemir animated thing.
What, the bard guy?
No, Vesemir, the
The old
Dandelion's the
wolf.
bard. Vesemir is the old wolf that
The
talk,
old
that talk-
Witcher.
Geralt.
See,
Geralt.
see, it's been
Geralt's
been so
trainer.
long. I don't remember all the characters' names or any of the
It's
characters' names.
Dandelion in the video game in English, but it's Dandelion in the audiobook.
It is Dandelion.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be
Well,
Dandelion.
even the audiobook is translated from Polish. Not
Right.
that I
You're-
speak it or anything, but
You're translated from Polish.
I mean, technically, he
I
is.
am Polish.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
half of me
Look
is.
at that big old pierogi face he's got. Let's
I know which half.
I'd like to take a moment before we get into the show and just ask each of you in turn a highlight from the past year. And we'll start with, I'm going to start in my screen rotation. We'll start with Matt,
Which one?
the one that we call Matt, not Frakes.
Oh, well, I
Stop
mean, I
trying to
screw that
buy
up sometimes.
time. You give me a highlight of your career here.
um,
You can pick either character. You've had a character death.
Yeah, so I think that's really tough.
Mhm.
I really liked one of the highlights I liked. I'm gonna go with Cullen. And for those of you who don't remember, Cullen was a witch that was not long for this world, apparently. But he had a very good knack for fog spells and took a lot of shit for casting those with a fair amount of frequency. However, there was a time we came out of the grove and there was a bridge and there were these archers up in these trees and it was the perfect moment to cast it. And I cast it. And I think there was only one person, I can't remember who it was. I do remember who it was, that was outside of that fog, outside of that cover. And they all shot him. And I like that. That was a good day.
That was Akage's first near death. Or second near death.
That was not the first near, I don't think.
No.
But yeah,
I will say
no,
the only
like
thing I
that.
didn't like about Cullen was that he kept saying task name wrong.
That was,
You
yeah,
tried to
wasn't
make that a
Cullen.
running joke and it got under my skin. I hated
I know,
that.
well, I know, and I think that made me that inspires me sometimes when I know it's getting on somebody's nerves.
We've
Yeah.
noticed.
We know.
Yeah.
How I have fun. Don't.
And let me just tell you, that is a really endearing trait.
Nice face.
Listen, it's how I have fun.
Mhm.
I have fun.
I am a shitty person. That's how I have fun. What?
It's what my character would do. Fuck off.
Mhm.
My characters only do what I do, so it's most of the time.
Yeah,
What about,
giant pussy.
What about you, Sonder? Just pretend Noob didn't say that.
So there was the shopping. That was fun. When she got to describe her cape, her cape jacket.
Oh,
that
when
was a
Dorian
good time.
took y'all shopping.
Mhm.
Yep.
That was
Fashion.
cool.
Fashion
But
finder.
also, I also have to say that was also like the thumbnail that I made that just solidified the fact that I was going to keep making thumbnails because that one was fun.
That one was great.
Mm-hmm.
But also the moment where everybody's just trying on this metal thing or picking up this thing that's like hot and getting burned and dropping it again without saying, does anybody have fire resistance or anything? Because and then she just picks it up.
That was the compass from the campfire.
Yeah, that's right. It was on fire. Yep.
Yeah.
Like nobody thought to ask. Everybody was just like, I'll try to touch it.
I'll touch it.
Good times.
Yeah, we still don't work very well as a team.
No, our communication has been
Look what I can do.
real shitty.
Hit me with it, noob. What's your moment?
Remember that time Akage dropped his glaive?
Narrow it down.
More specific.
Narrow
It was
it way
fun.
down.
For combat wise, it's when I grappled Kevin with my whip out of the gullet of that monster.
Oh, yeah.
That was early
Yeah,
on.
that was cool.
And then
That was
the other
good.
time, roleplay wise, is when I did a sense motive check. Saw someone was lying and just, why are you lying to me? Why are you doing that?
That was that shitty dwarf in the cave, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was him. It fit his character. He's like, why are you lying? Why are you doing this?
Rito Bumfinger.
Rito Bumfinger.
Oh no, Rito. That's it.
Terrence.
I'm really grappling. Sorry. Pass.
Not coming back.
Okay.
I mean, technically, you haven't been here the whole time yet, so I should ask you that question again in 4 episodes.
All right.
Yeah, your season 2 starts in a month.
Oh, good. No, I honestly like. Shit, I got nothing.
I really like the bar scene where you're giving people those drinks and then you poisoned them.
Well, yeah, that wasn't anything we did in the game, though. I mean,
Well, what about the
memorable.
time when you killed Akage?
Yeah.
I mean, that was something,
The
I guess.
murder.
The Mr.
Your character-
Graham. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed those scenes, but they weren't necessarily part of the game. Those are all like.
Could ask
They're
you
absolutely
last,
part
and
of
you
the
could have
game.
been like when I dropped the match on this boat and blew everybody up.
All right, well then, yeah, we'll cut all that part out, and that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I'll just post this again at the end. Kevin.
Well, one of my favorite fights was I always pictured it as almost like a gibbering mouther. The thing that was in the cage, it was all the bodies that you had worked
flesh.
together. It was a truly scary fight, I felt, because the more we heard it, the bigger it got, it seemed. And I
That
was
was a fun
honestly really scared. I thought it was going to be a TPK, and we ended up surviving somehow. But very enjoyable night of combat.
Frakes.
Well, I think the highlight of this whole adventure is, for me, this whole adventure. Like the fact that we're all together, we're doing this, and we get to watch our show again and enjoy the moments again.
You
Oh.
sappy bitch.
That's the broad strokes. If we're gonna narrow it down to the highlight moment,
For you, what was your highlight moment this past year?
it was when the River Drake tail slapped Akage to death, allowing me to bring in another better character.
Cool.
And when his dick exploded.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that part.
Yeah, that seems
The
bad.
second time.
I was really hoping for like a noble death because of all the really killer story elements that we had crafted over, just hours of me writing and proofreading and just the creativity and the soul that went into that character.
Backstories that you
to
wrote, the
explode.
backstories that you wrote that I thought they were really good. I put all these adventure hooks in there, and when Akage died, I just deleted all of them off the drive because they're worthless now.
That's fine. I still got him.
I thought we
He's
would
technically
both lose.
still with us. He's in our bag or our portable hole in the freezer.
He might be. We'll see how this explosion goes.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I did not expect to have to deal with a boat exploding. but it
You
happened.
put a bunch of explodable things on a
Yeah,
boat
you
and
put-
didn't
I
plan
was
for
gonna
them
say,
to explode.
I thought,
You
hey,
put
here's
exploding
guns.
things.
Here's guns for the world. A world that doesn't have guns and a boat full of gunpowder. Y'all'd be like, we're going to use guns. Nope. Y'all want to blow the boat up.
Why would we use guns when we
I mean,
can
none of us
use
have proficiency
magic?
with them.
And you said no gunslingers.
Yeah, you clearly said no.
I don't
There's
want-
guns in this world. You can't use them.
You
I don't
can
want to use
them.
guns if I can't
So-
be good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can't use it, nobody can. That's
Yeah,
my
look,
I mean, I
attitude.
still have a gun,
She does.
technically.
I'm not investing feats in this. Boom.
You might. You don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I gave everybody homework when we finished recording.
Oh boy.
That's why my face was so like when we first started, because I couldn't find that shit.
No. Some of you have some scripted elements that we'll do. Some of you send in some pre-recorded stuff we'll play. This is going to be very similar, I think, to the exposition dump, episode 33, I think it was. But I've recorded something that we'll start this off with, and then we'll get into the cliffhanger stuff. And I'm going to try.
Cool. I'm gonna grab my popcorn and crunchy chips.
If you leave, don't come back. I say that to him every time we hang out.
I keep coming
It's-
back.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
just
he just never realizes that you're serious.
Oh, see,
No.
that's better than I get. I get please leave and don't come back.
Because you're usually puking off a porch railing.
Hey.
Oh.
I mean, that's true.
Okay, here we go.
The first dragon, Medir. Medir drifted from plane to plane, but not without purpose. This dragon god would go to each plane and feel what it was to be from there. Once she was satisfied, a great arcane power would release from her belly, sending her children to occupy the places of that plane. Medir did this for countless number of planes. The shadow, astral, elemental, and even most parts of the material plane. She never met a god as old as her, and most couldn't even understand her language, a language of the purest magics of divine creation. In her long journey, Medir found herself in the realm of the Fae. These creatures very much intrigued her. They could, albeit crudely, converse with her. They filled Medir with joy, very akin to the pleasure she got from birthing her dragons. That joy was short-lived. The Fae, with their power, lied to the oldest dragon, and in turn planted a cancer in her belly. Medir flew to the outer reaches of Fae space and slowly, painfully died. When the lady, Lamansa, learned of what the Fae Lords did, she grew furious. She knew of Medir, for like her, she was also a first of sorts, and a traveler. Lamansa had found a home with these Fae, and had gained their approval through her powerful magic. But she knew with the death of Medir, no realm nor plane would see the birth of a new breed of dragon. Sure, the ones already born would be near timeless, but what else could have been? None would ever know. For the next millennia, Lamansa planned and cultivated power, while in the stars, Medir transformed. The pressures of space formed the dragon corpse into a sphere. Medir's skin became a surface, and her stomach a core. A new planet was formed, and on it, life began to grow. The Fae watched and waited. They planned many things for its use, but they lacked the power and the foresight. Lamansa did not. She fled the Fae world to drift its strange version of space, filled with stars the color no mortal could comprehend, chased by angry Fae gods. But they didn't plan for this, and Lamansa quickly outpaced them. As soon as her foot touched the surface of Medear's, she knew she had not wasted her power to get here. She quickly performed the practiced ancient ritual. And just like that, Medear and Lamansa left the Fey realm and made a new home on the material plane. It's been several thousand years since that great ritual. The inhabitants of the planet Medear don't know of its past. Lamansa took a small space for herself as other gods of this plane made their way to Medear. These gods were cautious of Lamansa, but she kept to herself, keeping watch of the giant tribe she created and cared for. That was until a greedy god sent his disciples to the island Lamansa had claimed, and with those disciples a secret Fey king that would trick Lamansa like he had Medear all those millennia ago.
Wow, dude, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I like
Dragons and shit.
That's planet lore.
Planet lore.
That's the
Season
lore
2,
of
Planet
the
Lore.
planet.
Boom.
You should
I like
release that one as its own separate video, actually,
Uh,
as a lore
I-
dump.
I recognize
could.
Medear, sort of how I recognize Yarnum.
I spelled it different. I put a Y in there.
I thought it said
But I
Medea
don't
the
know what you're
first
talking
time I
about.
heard it.
I heard Medea
So
too.
wait. You thought that the great dragon, the first dragon of all time, was Medea?
I thought that's what
Right
you
back in here.
thought.
That's what it sounded like.
The great dragon
Well,
Medea.
the real question
I'm going to start
Is it
this
a
whole episode
male?
over. I can't have that. I don't want-
Tyler Perry presents Homebrew Detritus, episode 51. Medea goes to
Season 2, episode
planets.
1.
Medea goes to the Fey realm.
Medea becomes a planet.
Diary of a Mad Dragon.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great.
Sorry.
Not to ruin the entire tone there, but that
No,
was some good
That was
shit.
dope.
I feel pretty good about that. Is not at all what was planned for you after this. I had a lot of story hooks for when you got back to Yarnum. I don't know. Well, now I know, but you
Yarnum's
don't know
gonna
if-
still be
if-
there.
if you're going to make it back to Yarnum anytime soon. Let's find out. So the way I'm going to do this is that when Dorian dropped that match, I pulled the map up and I've got a list here of who was closest to where that explosion would go off.
Hmm.
And we're going to start closest to furthest for what's happened. So when we went off the air last week, I think on the Discord later, I said, everybody, I want you to think of what your character's last thoughts would be before death. Because when Dorian drops that match and the explosion happens, it is all encompassing. It is end of character levels of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll start with Dorian because he
Okay.
was on the boat and he's the cause of all this.
The cause. Come on now.
You
I'm
kind
the
of were
so-
the cause.
The
Suicide
catalyst of all
bomber?
this.
I'm
Catalyst.
the solution to all this.
That's a good word.
Yeah, you're the catalyst for this.
Maybe we'll do that. We'll
The
do
match
like a
was
little.
actually the catalyst of the explosion.
We could do the each part, and this would be Dorian, the catalyst of all this shit.
Okay.
Scrolls across like it's an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I don't want to die. I really don't want to die.
I really am not prepared for that. So
I don't want to
Dorian,
die.
Dorian, as you drop the match, and Elise was about to cast her spells, and Belfast is yelling at you, and there's an argument between the people who are on the destroyed ship and on the Monachopsis and you.
Mhm.
The match is dropped.
All right. Ready?
As the explosion happens, there's red, there's pain, there's possibly death, but there's a strange blue-green wave that wraps around your character.
The last minute was a blur. Monsters, sea spray, shouting, desperate struggle. He had aided for as long as he could, but after a certain point he knew his window was closing. A keg of powder hastily lightened, an invisibility spell, a frantic dash where one misstep would mean failure. When the scarred wizard had told him of the vision he and the others had of the boy's soul being devoured, the picture, the puzzle, was mostly complete. He had to keep these soul crystals away from the island. He coated it all with powder and made a trail up the deck. Now the pirates meant to stop him, their greed blinding them to the harm they would cause. He bargains and pleads, trying to buy precious seconds to dip into the pockets of his overcoat. There. He thumbs open a small box of Mrs. Pembry's First Strike sulfur sticks and pulls a match free. Just in time. The wizard was going for his spells to try and stop him, but he's ready now. He lights the match with his thumbnail and drops it to the deck. In his mind, he's back to the beginning. His first memory, a farmhouse in the dead of winter's night. There are holes in the roof from the burning thatch, and snow streams in, sizzling, steaming as it touches the flames. He hears crying and knows it can't be anyone but himself. Everyone else here is dead. The sounds that woke him were horrific, screams punctuated with wet, tearing sounds. On the floor, he sees a man and a woman in the tatters of their nightclothes. The man's left hand is gripping an axe, but both of them are several feet away from the arm it belongs to. The woman's pretty face looks serene. You could almost believe she was asleep, if not for the hole in her chest where her heart once was. The crying dissolves into silent sobs. The only other sounds that can be heard are the crackle of fire and the sound of cold winter wind. There's a sudden crash. Booted feet land in front of the small child as more of the burning roof scatters around them. He looks up and sees something that will be seared into his brain for his entire life. The creature before him is beautiful, so achingly beautiful. It is shaped like a man, but it is clearly so much more. It wears armor that seems to be made of the night sky, shimmering with starlight, reflecting nothing of the drab world around it. On its head is a crown of tangled antlers bound in silver. Its face is the most beautiful of all, not truly a face, but a distillation of all that is wild and terrible. Its eyes are hungry predator's eyes. Its skin shines like snow and moonlight. Its hair flows as if underwater. Blood gleams like rubies on its lips as a smile spreads across them. Ah, there you are. The creature says soothingly, "Last one left. You know, little one, this was all so avoidable. All the village had to do was renew its vows with a sacrifice, and we would have spared them for another century or so." The boy doesn't know what the creature is talking about, but he is enraptured by it. Even as the long clawed gauntlets, which are still wet with blood and gore, move toward him, he listens to the voice. "Now, tell me your name, little child, so that it will be remembered forever in the halls of the Sorrow King." The boy is briefly free of the creature's glamour. He wants to scream at the horrible sight before him, but instead, he answers the question like one would answer any adult, politely. "I don't have a name, sir. I turn 6 on my next birthday, sir." For in his humble Krathian village, the old tradition of not naming a child until after they have survived 6 years is still alive and well. The creature seems disappointed and suddenly bored. What good is a nameless mortal heart to me? The tears that sustain me won't be shed over someone who isn't anyone. A pleasant night to you. And with that, the creature is gone, and the nameless boy was alone. The fear and awe he felt was gone as well. All that was left was this memory, his very first, and a hate-filled scar on a nameless heart. Boom.
Scene.
Bravo.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was very well done.
Like it.
Thank you.
Well done,
Fasa.
sir.
I got some
Yeah, I got goosebumps.
goosebumps.
Oh, thanks.
It was good, but you didn't create a planet. I mean,
That's true.
Shut up.
It's fucking true.
Hey, if I had
No
known we could
planet
create
lore.
a planet in this story, I would have done way more towards it.
Yeah,
Well,
you didn't give us the scope we had to work with. Sorry.
Well, we're not the DM.
Kevin's
though.
planet would have no adventure hooks on it. Everybody would just get up, eat oatmeal, and go back to sleep.
They would
Take your pill.
They would see a
9
giant bag filled with beer, stab it, suck out the juice, go to bed.
No, that was real. That was good.
What's wrong with
That was
that?
great.
I'm not one to
That was
pry
good.
into anybody else's secrets.
I've gotten.
I hit her in the head with a hammer, non-lethally.
Look, that was. I didn't pick
Hold
my
on.
favorite moment. My favorite moment from the past year, and it's Kevin, and it's because you killed an adventure hook, but it was when we did all that with Saunders' character and like the Reeves of Flame, and you were the only one to witness it. It was like, how do you respond? Oh, to each their own. I'm gonna go get some lumber. I was like, God damn it. Ask her a question. So good though. And I'm picking on you, Kevin, because the next person in the lineup is Razbad.
Is the Kevin.
Razbad, as the explosion goes off, you're closest to it. You feel the heat before your head fully turns around to see. And what you see is a Dorian midway leaping from the top of this boat. But the fire catches him. But the fire's not just red. There's a strange, glittery blue-green glow to it. And Dorian's gone. And you quickly follow.
This isn't the first time Razbad feared for his own life. In fact, the first time was when he was much, much younger. Razbad, a young slave, found himself tied to the whipping post. Thinking back, how did I get here? He goes into what happened the night before. A slave escape had been planned and attempted. Razbad, coming up with this plan, convinced the other slaves of a way he had found out. Leading the charge to his escape plan, he was well on his way out of the slave camp when he hears a call from his young friend, the dwarf, caught up in a patch of brambles. Razbad turned back, knowing that saving his friend would mean his probable capture. Yet he continued on anyway to the young dwarf, freeing him, and eventually capture by the guards. Coming back to the whipping post, as the slave master calls out his punishment. 10 lashes per escaped slave. Doing the math in his head, knowing that comes to 200, a number that no slave has ever survived. He'd seen many slaves tied to this post, but no more than 50 lashes were received by them. Stories, of course, had rumored around of some receiving 100, but even the most outrageous tale limited it to 120 being survivable. He felt no fear, however, and as the punishment started, a human man comes to him that he did not know or had ever seen before. However, unbeknownst to him, this was his father. The man passes him a strip of leather and a piece of advice. Bite down on this, for he gets off from your screams. And steps away. And once he is clear of the area, the count begins. Stoically taking the lashes, strangely feeling no pain from them. And as the numbers increase, the blood begins to run down his back, and he passes out. Being revived, only a few minutes later, the count begins to continue. Yet still, Razbad feels no pain. The count increases and increases, and again, Razbad passes out, only to be revived 3, 4, 5 times, and approaching the 200th lash of the punishment, again, passes out. He only finds out further from his aged master, Old Grizz, that the only explanation that is able to be found is that the one who has marked his face and bestowed upon him a freedom from this punishment for the only reason he was in this position was because he sacrificed himself to save another. Scene.
You went real Passion of the Christ there, huh, bud?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
knock.
say the only reason he survived this is because he was, in fact, Jesus Christ.
Grizzle is played by Mel Gibson.
Oh,
No, we don't want Mel Gibson. We don't Mel Gibson.
Do the
No.
Mel Gibson thing.
Kevin texted me earlier, said he's going to need whipping sounds for the sound effects for his, and I was like, I could probably find that, but I don't want to go overboard with it, but I might have to, huh? Just
200 times.
200 times.
Play them really, really fast, back to back.
Slap.
It's the North Star's ass.
That was good. That was good.
Yes.
I liked your whipping pantomime over there, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's truly how you deal out lashes.
Mm-hmm. It's all in the wrist.
It's the cat of 9,000 tails.
I don't have to count to 200 if there's 10 whips at once.
Yeah, that's just 20.
Yeah. Razbad was consumed by the fire. Right next to him was Valdros. Valdros has only been with this crew for a short while. But maybe it'll be the shortest character lived on this show.
Next to
to
Cullen.
date. No, Cullen made it, 15 episodes?
Yeah, Cullen
Good
lasted
bit.
a couple of days, maybe a week or two.
There's a good pace. I really
Glad-
think we ought to take a Kage at each one of his lives and measure that duration to be fair.
Nobody died 3 episodes in, but Valdros will be the first as he turns to see Dorian, then Razbad. Behind Razbad, he sees Draft as well. Draft sees the fire coming, and he's in the midst of lifting that heavy blood golem's body to shield himself from the flames, but you can see that it's done him no good, and there's nothing that you can do as well as the fire consumes Valdros.
Time seems to slow. I can only watch in horrified confusion as flame erupts from the tinder twig that drops onto the pile of powder on the deck. In an instant, the fire expands, and it is clear there is no escape. Not for any of us. As the world explodes into fire and noise, all I can think is how I got here. After years of torture at his hands, the man I knew as Dmitri, who now goes by Dorian, murdered his partner and helped me escape the gulag. I asked no questions. I just fled into the frozen Krathian wilderness. My days became weeks in a blur of fear, fighting cold, and foraging for what meager food I could find. Eventually, I staggered into a nameless, isolated fishing village. Within the first few days, I discovered this place was the home port of a smuggling operation. All I knew was soldering and physical labor, so I joined their crew as muscle. It started as great fun, drinking, dicing, and enjoying the rebellious thrill of stealing from Craith, all with the promise of stakes of coin. It wasn't until the captain and crew decided to attack Craithian merchant ships as actual pirates that I began to question my choice of companions. After looting the merchant's cargo, my crewmates convinced our captain to scuttle the Craithian ship, leaving the merchant's wounded men to swim or drown. Eventually, our ships pulled into Smuggler's Cove to offload the pirated cargo. It was there that I decided it was time for me to part company with the smugglers turned pirates. But in order for me to walk away from the crew, the captain forced me to give up my share of the proceeds from the looted cargo. Then they left me there, in Smuggler's Cove. 3 months now, I have been stranded on this island, trying to save up enough coin to book passage to somewhere by working as security for Doc 2, the dwarf who ran Smuggler's Cove. I had never expected to see Dimitri's face again, let alone in a tiny smuggler outpost, nor did I expect that his would be the hands to end my life.
You bastard.
And see.
This is why nobody likes
And-
Dorian.
Hey,
I'm sorry, but at the very beginning, I know with the accent you presented that story in.
Oh,
it
he dropped that
sounded-
match on a dick.
Yeah, it lights his match on the dick. And
Yeah, I
then
heard
your
that.
shit sounded like shit.
I heard it and I kind of started to drift a little into like Scottish, and I'm like, bring it back, bring it back.
Bring it back. I thought it was good.
There's some
I
Sean
like it.
Connery in there.
I
heard of that.
appreciate the story, but he dropped his match on the dick.
I saw Kevin grin and I went, my head figures, but then realized I too was also grinning.
Yeah, I was grinning also.
So, yeah.
It took all I could to keep that, to not take that over from the start.
Yeah.
There's no way to say
like it.
deck in a Russian accent without sounding like dick.
Dick.
If you had done a Sean Connery accent, it was Russian, and
No.
he didn't say dick. He said deck.
I'm Russian.
But for the
Sean
Red
Connery.
October,
I'm
watch
Russian,
it.
Sean Connery. Listen to my accent.
of course I'm Russian, Sean Connery.
Didn't he
I
play,
can't do it.
like, wasn't he in some movie where he was supposed to be Russian?
the
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Can't you tell I'm
not.
Russian by my accent?
Stop
right.
shooting.
That's
It's
right, comrades.
explosive.
It doesn't get any more Russian than this.
In the spirit of perestroika, we'll make peace.
So we're telling a really serious story, but we just can't. We can't
can't
make
keep it
fun
straight.
of each other after the end of it.
No,
I
it's
was
course
going to
not.
cut all this out.
Yeah.
You're going to cut all this out, right?
No.
No.
This is what makes
Now that
us
you've-
detritus.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the shit. Yeah.
Here's
Well,
a
it's like
really
50
sad story.
episodes.
Your finger's fat. Like that's how we do it.
What?
Somebody tells a real sad story that we pick something about him. I called Kevin a
Oh.
pierogi face earlier. Like it's.
I mean, that's true though.
yeah. Well,
What we do.
Don't take a sip of sugar-free Red Bull and then immediately take a sip of red wine.
Ugh.
oh, I
Not
got
good
that bottle of
mix.
red wine I was going to drink tonight as if it's special, and I forgot to open it.
Yeah. You want me to open it for you? I like opening bottles of wine.
We know.
Taste.
It's the intervention.
I'll save it for the next episode because I want to keep going.
But I still want to open it because I like doing that.
You need to open your
It's my
wine.
It's my wine. I want to
wanna
open it.
open it.
I want to open it.
Stop
That is-
whining about your wine.
That is premium aged Boone's Farm. He has got to get in.
Actually, I got a really nice bottle of water. I don't drink. I'm not a wine drinker, but I thought I would try because the bottles look cool. And I
Yeah.
got
Was it the last box at the gas station or?
it was hard times these
You
days.
should. I'm surprised you haven't bought a bottle of Maynard's wine.
That pretentious fuck. Lead singer of Tool.
Oh,
Oh,
I forgot that was a band.
Yeah, no, I like Tool. I like calling him a pretentious fuck because I mean he probably kind of is. He's a great musician. But no,
He's
I have not spent all that money on his wine.
He's an artist.
It's stupid expensive, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never priced it because I don't like wine.
Yeah.
When I think premium wine, I think Tool.
Speaking of tools, the next person up in the fire explosion of death is Noob.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's me.
I'm a dragon, baby.
I'm a dragon, baby.
Amon, you have now seen Dorian, Brasbad, Vladros, and Draft all be completely consumed by this explosion.
Hold on, let me do a perception check just to make sure.
Yeah, I just really wanted to roll a dice tonight, huh?
Go.
Gotcha.
Go on.
I will go on. I'm gonna go. I don't have to go on far because you were one of those who sent me a recording of Amon's last thoughts, and I don't want to say my expectations for you were low.
They were
but
low.
maybe they are a little. It's
We've
really
seen his
good.
PowerPoint
I don't want
skills.
to get everybody's expectations really high, but you put a lot of production value in this, and I think it's really good. And I'm excited to play it for everybody here on the show.
I don't want to say my
I wanna hear it,
expectations
yeah.
were low, but they were
I
low.
like to think if you listen closely, you can hear Terrence, Mahogany, and Frakes all do voices, and yeah.
Everybody else sucks.
Bravo.
Yeah, that credit was in my union contract. He had to say that.
Yeah. They made me sign this extensive contract for these fuckers.
If you are reading this, then I have died and failed. Not only my God, but my people as well. Or, Dorian, you went through my belongings, and for that I will pop your eyes from your head and make you watch as I fillet the flesh off your bone and use my tools to suck out the last remaining life force of your body. But in the event you find this letter on my remains, and it is not Dorian doing something that will end his life, I believe this time you know the truth about me and who I really am. My name is not Amon Nakari. It is Pharaoh Tutata Setamun, or Tut for short, the rightful ruler of Sand and her people. My father, Saimun Tutata Setamun, a man of strong will and even stronger arm, was the king of Sand.
Son, when I am to die, and have my heart weighed in the underworld, I know I will go where all good kings go. And do you know why? Because I did what every good king does. Put my people above all else. Well, all else beside you, my little prince.
He brought peace and harmony in the name of Anubis, for he knew his heart would be weighed after his death. The people were fed, the animals fat, and the fields lush with crops. This, however, was not enough for my uncle, Tios Tutasetamun, a cruel man known for murdering his servants, for as much as looking unhappy to be around him.
What's wrong? Don't want to be around your lord? Fine. Maybe you'll be happier around the dead. Guards, take him to the dungeon and have him embalmed alive.
My father wanted nothing more than to live in his peaceful land, living out his days, giving what he could to his people. My uncle craved power. Tios wanted to be an all-powerful warlord, conquering neighboring lands with armies at the snap of his fingers, only because he wants to see blood run in the streets in honor of our name, of which he drags through the mud. Like any man of virtue or evil, death came from my father. Although I suspect foul play, the body was disposed of quickly before I could inspect it. For a king must be embalmed fast. It ensures that his body may be perfect for the afterlife. The only thing my father left me was his armor and knowledge of how to care for the dead, through his devotion to Anubis. With me not being of age, my uncle was made king until manhood would reach me. My uncle, however, never had plans of me making it to age. Many years in the barracks is where I acquired my fighting prowess. Upset that my time fighting in the barracks did not kill me, he tried to dispose of me with one final trick. A week before my coronation, my uncle decided to celebrate by having me conquer a city, Yarnum. I tried to refuse, but he enacted new decrees that would have me killed if I refused, royalty or not. I would also be killed if I came back unsuccessful. He sent me with an understaffed crew. It was a suicide mission to a city we had no business in. I did only one thing I knew to do in times like this: pray. To whom? I didn't care. Just to any god that would answer. And she did. Selket. She answers my prayers not with a divine act, but with a leviathan that cracked the ship in two. While I was knocked out, being washed ashore, I heard her say,
I cannot guarantee your future, but when the time is right, you will be a king or die.
when I washed ashore next to that cursed lighthouse where I was tending to my wounds, I was greeted by a halfling and his dog, though he was much younger in those days. When I saw him, I drew my weapons for a fight, and I said I mean you no harm. He told me to drop my weapons and that no enemies are here. He asked me where I was from and my name. I told him Sand, but I needed a name fast. I couldn't let my royal bloodline be known. I told him the most common name I could think of, Aman Makari. And the rest, you know. P.S. If I am to fall, be ready for Sand. My uncle's conquest won't stop until he's dead, or he rules the world. Be you friend or foe, either way, you have found it.
If I wanted you dead, you would be. But it looks like you can heal and fight where you're from.
You are correct. When you come from Sand, you can either choose to fight or choose to die. But I opted for the third option, leaving. Unfortunately, it looks like the rest of my refugee ship has fallen.
Well, just so you know, magic is forbidden in these parts, but we always have use for a divine healer. Do you have a trade?
I know how to prepare the dead for the afterlife.
If you mean an undertaker, then lucky for you, a job recently opened up. Come, let's talk over a drink. I think you'll like it here. I'll show you the Brazen Bee. But what was your name?
Aman Nakari.
I like that. It was good.
That was great. Yeah, really nice.
Oh, that Wilhelm scream though, I couldn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that almost killed me.
Yeah.
That was good.
I was coming home
Can you
from
not
work.
mute your microphone without muting what you're playing on your share screen?
My microphone's been muted.
I think that was,
I
that?
just see a mute symbol on everyone else but you.
Oh, I've got it. Oh, you, Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has other means to mute.
No, that was other people you heard laughing that did not mute their.
Oh yeah, that was me. I didn't. I didn't realize too late. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Amateur.
But I was
Nice
coming home
job,
from.
noob.
I was coming home from work, and you sent me that, and I just clicked it to play while I was riding. And when that Wilhelm scream went off in the car, I laughed for about 3 blocks. God, that tickled me.
That was very good,
nice.
noob.
You really know how to
Nicely
You've
massage
always
it.
set the bar higher for yourself.
Yeah. But you definitely know how to massage a tone.
Is that sexual? What are you?
I
Talking
don't know what you mean by that, man.
Was that a compliment or?
I think it's
Explain it.
complimenting your editing.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
The tone of your story was serious and, solemn. And then you throw Wilhelm scream in there.
Of course.
You just
That's why it
kinda,
hits so hard.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of a comedy drama. I liked it.
A dramedy.
Yeah.
Dramedy. It was good. That was good. Nicely
It
done.
helps break up the monotony of so much seriousness.
I'm really
see,
I'm glad you used that take.
that was an accusation. I know.
I like that one.
It was a good one.
It's like in Cujo, where the dog is about to break through the car, and the woman's screaming, and she's trying to push her dehydrated, nearly dead son into the back seat, but her foot hits the radio, and the Baja Men start playing.
Who let the dogs out? 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 Everybody was nice, the party was bumping.
It's the same thing. Stephen King's a phenomenal writer. It's the same thing.
He knows.
Good.
You got to break up some of that horror with a little laugh or two.
You do.
I'm
you
glad
do.
you gave up on the PowerPoint, noob.
And
I'm
who
obsessed
doesn't
with
love a
PowerPoint.
Wilhelm scream? Honestly,
Wilhelm?
Well, here's the thing. Funny fact about the Wilhelm scream. The reason you can use it whenever, because nobody owns the rights to it, because nobody knows who that is. And that's why
Yes.
it's used everywhere.
It's been used since like 1940.
70 something.
45.
Yeah.
It's old.
Like the fifth, like an old cowboy film was like one of the
Yeah.
first known recordings
First
of it.
started making the pictures.
Yeah.
The talkies.
The first with sound motion picture had a Wilhelm scream in it.
It's back when they used to throw like a live mountain lion on set and be like, all right, cowboys, go fight that. Whoever
They
wins
should've
gets
wrestled
paid with
this.
cigarettes tonight.
you get cigarettes and beans.
Yeah.
Get to it.
All right.
It's named after Private Wilhelm, a character in The Charge at Feather River in 1953, a Western, when he gets shot in the
Wow.
thigh with an arrow.
Wait,
Yeah.
my joking guess of 1945 wasn't that far off.
No,
yeah,
it
was
was
still wrong.
Yeah, but Toker's guess of 1950s cowboy movie, spot on the nose.
Yeah. Plus, you had to guess without going over. So
Yeah,
you
sorry.
lost.
You should have been $1.
Well,
Price is Right
$1.
rules.
you can tell us after this next bit what your next character is going to be, Kevin. The next
no.
person in line for this explosion is probably the one who's most emotionally charged through all this. She's on her almost her childhood home. Her father may be dead on the Monachopsis. Her friends are arguing with people she grew up with when the Dorian, the character she trusts the least out of this party, I think I can say.
I think she has
with
said that.
100% certainty.
You've never told her the truth either.
You
That's her
can't.
whole
Never mind.
thing. Yeah.
Nobody tells you the truth.
Hey,
If I grab
you dropped a lit match on your dick.
Can I grab a drink real quick?
Yeah.
You're a grown man, noob. You can do what you want.
Hold it. Don't tea a drink.
Stop.
You're a better role player when you're dehydrated.
Yeah, where's your pan, boy?
Yeah, you have an official Homebrew Detritus licensed pee bottle right next to your chair. What are you doing?
It's called a travel urinal, sir.
If you keep leaving, how are we going to save up all
Which
the money
you
to
can
produce
pick
egg
up on
sweat?
Redbubble.
See, that's why I don't ask permission. I just expect
go.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
And you don't get it.
Yeah, we hate you.
Yeah, but you keep bringing me back in.
Yes, because I can't
Well,
figure out the Discord. It's like
yeah,
you just I
contractual
don't know how to boot
obligations.
people from that. So you know when the Zoom meetings pop up.
I just jump on and
Yeah.
Hey guys.
you gracefully allow me to play.
You're like athlete's foot, where like it's itchy and it sucks, but it reminds me that I'm alive and somehow keeps me going.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that.
With fungal cream.
Insulted. That's how you
Sad
take it.
Jurassic Park music.
Roll that clip.
Anytime.
Are we waiting for Noob?
No, he's back.
Oh, okay. Then
Back.
fuck
I'm fucking
Noob.
right
Roll
here,
tape.
Yeah,
Terrence.
look at his
Yeah,
face.
he's
you.
never looking at us. I don't know.
I'm never looking. I'm looking at Twitter.
Yeah, he's counting magic cards. Sonder, you see Razbad. You see everybody basically so far get consumed by this fire, but you're far enough away now to where the fire is definitely there's something more to it. But you know you will not live to figure out its mystery. Just as the fire touches your flesh, you feel the familiar touch of Siren Ray touching your soul, and you can hear her crying.
The heat of the explosion rushes towards her. A familiar voice cries out in anguish. "What have you let happen, child?" It is her lady Sarenrae. The lady's anguish washes over and through her, and she realizes that there is nothing left to do. It seems to Sonder that this path was set in motion the moment she set foot in Yarnum. The flames grow ever nearer, and she wonders wistfully how her path would have differed if she had stayed on her island, the dutiful daughter at her father's side. The freedom she had yearned for had been exciting, still she had never really strayed from her family's cause. She had chosen to fulfill her duties in her own way. Now each decision was revealed to have tightened the noose. As the flames began to engulf her, her mind drifted back to a simpler, safer time. A time before her gift felt like a burden. A time before there was a rift between her and her father. She probably wouldn't get the chance to tell him so, but she knew now that he was right. She would leave this world remembering a time when her faith and her family were intact. What story shall I tell my daughter this evening? Tell me about Babu Bene. You know how that story affects you, child. Baba, tell me about Babu Bene. He sucks his teeth. Pick another story, little one. Her little nose scrunched up, and Winsome knew that it was better to concede now than pick this fight. Sonder took a deep breath and got ready to make her demands, but her Baba cut her off. My father, your grandfather, was the kindest man this island ever knew. He was a friend to anyone that set foot on this island, lending a hand to strangers and locals alike. And I'm not just saying that because he's my Baba. His name was given to him by the Orisha. They looked at his spirit and they named him Benevolent, just like they looked at my spirit and named me Winsome, and they looked at your spirit and named you Sonder. The Orisha know you, my Binti, and they give you gifts that match your spirit. One day you'll get yours. He pinched her still scrunched nose, and she giggled. My Baba, your Babu Benevolent, was gifted with healing from the Dawnflower, the Lady Sarenrae. She blessed him with this gift, and he spread it all over the island. He shared his gift freely with locals and visitors alike. He spent most of his days in a tent down by the open-air markets, trading his gifts with those who could afford his modest price, gifting it to those who couldn't. He was barely making a living, but he was happy. He had my Mama Mercy to keep him company, and soon one, then two handsome boys. One day, your Babu was approached by a man from a distant land about a job. Their ship's crew needed a healer to replace a man that had been lost at sea, and they were willing to pay very handsomely for 2 months' work. He could even bring his family if he wanted to. Your Babu was getting by with his modest living, but he had a growing family to think of, so he took the job. My brother was almost 11, so he and Baba went away with the men to a faraway place called Yarnum. I was only in my 5th year, so I stayed here with Mama. Those 2 months were longer than any 2 months I ever experienced, little one. I wasn't much older than you are now, but I was up every morning before the sun watching the waves for sign of my Baba and Kaka. No one could make me leave. I ate every meal on the shore for weeks, only coming home to sleep. At the end of 7 weeks, the ship returned, and I was right there to see the very first sail crest the horizon. He paused, blinking a little too much, and took a deep breath. Sonder frowned and squeezed his hand. It's okay, Baba. Tell me. I can handle it. You did, and you weren't much older than me when it happened. Winsome took another deep breath and continued. The ship returned, but my Baba was not on it. Neither was my Kaka. The story the men told was the same. Their healer had been lost at sea, and they were looking for someone to take their place. They needed someone with magic to help them protect their Lord Cromwell on his journeys in these waters. But something didn't add up. Why were they early? Where were my Baba and Kaka? How had they kept losing healers? Had they planned on choosing a new healer and leaving before we found out? But I had been right there when they arrived, and I blew their cover right away. They tried to escape when they were found out, but the townsmen caught them and interrogated them. They found out that Lord Cromwell had an anti-magic agenda, and these mercenaries were kidnapping magical folk and turning them over to Cromwell in return for favors from his kingdom. My father and brother were gone forever. I vowed at that moment that I and my family would never set foot in Yharnam, and no one from there would ever come near my island again. I would protect my people, and any magical being would be welcome here as long as they were willing to help us protect these waters from Cromwell's tyranny.
But she did set foot on Yharnam. What?
Do what I want.
That was good. Sad.
Very nice.
It's a shame she didn't survive this explosion for us to learn more about why
Yeah.
she changed her mind and went to Yharnam. It's just a
Should have been nicer to your pops.
I think I'm more sad that Winsome also got caught up in the explosion, and he's unconscious and couldn't make a reflex save.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you roll a reflex save? I
Yeah.
didn't.
I mean, even at half damage, I did the math. This is just
I mean,
a
even
fun
with
way to say
her-
goodbye.
I have
He's
evasion.
Even
here.
with her fire resistance?
Yeah, it's more the
See you
concussion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
You
force damage.
drown. That's what
Mhm.
happens.
You get
Is he
knocked
knocked
unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Pierced by all
mean-
the splinters of wood and everything.
Does it
So
mean
this
that
was the last episode, right? Because
Yeah.
we're done.
we're done after this? We're
Yeah.
gonna play Morkborg after this session. I think you
Cheers,
can die a
everyone.
whole bunch. You're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to die in that?
Oh yeah, it's
Drake's is going to be awesome at that
it's a
game.
high lethality kind of game.
Yeah, death is kind of what I'm good at.
All right.
But before we get into that, we have one last character whose last moments in life and thoughts will be Nim. And Matt was somebody else who sent me a video. I tampered with it a little bit. I hope you don't mind.
It's just gonna
He
be.
shit all over
I
it. You
shit all
ruined it.
over it. I
It's
was
got
like, this
The
is
bad stuff
garbage.
is what Toker added to it.
Did you put
Well,
yakety
he's
sax in the
last
background?
to be engulfed in the explosion. He's the furthest back, always.
I was not the furthest back this time. I was next to that priest thing or
He
whatever.
said
so-
he set this up that the closest to the explosion went first, and the furthest away went
Yeah,
last.
out of this party, you were the furthest away from the explosion.
As you,
As is proper.
yeah, as is his usual. The being.
As is
I
a
thought
coward.
I thought Sandra was still back on the first ship, but
No, she
Okay.
had jumped over. She was
Oh,
standing
okay.
next to Amon, was arguing with him because he was
Oh,
he had
yeah.
threatened the other guys on the boat.
Yeah.
She walked up and popped him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
got it.
Rude.
I just remember
But I
kicking
like it.
myself for being so damn close to that freaking thing when it exploded and freaking diseased me. Not that it's gonna
Mhm.
matter, but
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh no, that's
He's
holding
gonna keep-
over.
Yeah, that goes to your next character.
Yeah.
oh, you mean you mean Jim the elf wizard?
Yeah, my new character's name is Pharaoh Tutetasetamun. Built
No,
in,
we're
baby.
not calling you that, by the way. Noob.
That's fine.
Amon
Never
is-
If
intended
you can
Joe.
say it, we should all be able to say it because he can't say normal words.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
that's
call
his
it
skill,
I mean,
though.
I agree with that, but I'd also like to see it written.
yeah.
To see how it's
Yeah, I
supposed
bet he has it like
Yeah, I would have
phonetically
to see
somewhere.
it
still
written
mispronouncing it.
Hey, y'all want to see it fucking written? Hold
Yes.
on, Matt. You do your shit. I'll pull it up.
Don't screen share because I'm about to.
No, I won't screen share.
Okay. Nim, you've seen the fires of hell before, and you know that these are not those. But there's definitely something else. Something else in this explosion. but there's no escaping its destruction as it washes over your body.
Once again, my mind is lost in reverie. I feel the rage and the torment of the giant's soul scream out from the vision ever playing at my subconscious. I feel the greedy fingers and the picks of the dwarves ripping and tearing the vessels, housing the souls of my brothers and sisters, as I look out once again from the prison of the crystal. The battle across the 3-vessel reels in utter chaos. The shouts and cries pierce my subconsciousness and pull me back to my current reality. In the corner of my eye, amidst the fog of my mind, I see the distortion of light as the invisible Dorian reaches the vessel carrying the soul crystals. Their destruction is the right decision. The only decision that would keep the crystals from causing more harm to the living. But at what cost? Would it end the torment of the souls trapped within? Will it assuage the chains of guilt that burden me with every terrible decision that I must make? But there is no more time to ponder. The decision has been made, not by me, but I am complicit in silence, and a new link is added to my chains. For a moment, the warmth of the explosion touches my face. My mind takes me back to the small iron cage and the burning heat of Dias that was my prison for so long. This short respite on my home plane has been plagued by new torments and horrors with no end. The blood painting the entry halls of the dwarves, the traitorous nature and the greed of mortals in abundance, and the sowing of yet even more chaos with our every step. Do we not reap the crop we and our fathers have sown? Is pure chaos in the absence of both good and evil the balance I have been sent to restore? For there is no sure path before me. I am become compromise and acquiescence to that which I once abhorred. The image of the cursed young girl in the cave flashes before me. Our only answer to villain and victim alike is death. Perhaps more than the giant soul will finally be free this day.
Yay!
Oh, that was extremely creepy face, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that animated face
I
blown
don't know
up
how
that size was super creepy.
I don't know how it somehow, because I tweaked with that thing, that ancestry, or not the ancestry, whatever that thing that Toker was using to animate it, and playing with the different sizes, and somehow I got it to make that grin at the end of the clip.
That was good.
It's just
Nailed
weird.
it.
Nim is. I did not realize how hypnotically hard to look at he is.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps it. I have a charisma of like 2. He keeps his hood down most of the time,
I
not
assume
because he's.
You just want to feel that has
unsociable.
long hair in your face most of the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're almost out of time for this episode, and I don't want to leave y'all on a cliff like we did last time. I don't want to leave the listeners on a cliff, so I'm gonna get right into it. Dorian, your eyes open, your hands and feet are bound. The wagon seems to be pulling through a mountainous forest terrain. You look around and you see that there are 2 other prisoners at the back of this wagon. One of them goes, Stormcloaks caught you too.
I was about to say, this sounds so much like Skyrim.
You're finally awake.
Finally awake.
Oh, God.
So welcome to Skyrim. We'll start
Can we
season
please
1 of our
use
Skyrim
the-
game next week.
Live another life mod.
I really thought
Yeah.
you were going to make us make Starfinder characters.
No.
Oh, I would
God,
walk
please
off
no.
this show.
I'm going to make y'all like Starfinder one of these days, but it's got to be
Yeah,
adjusted.
okay, rewrite it and call it, make something else.
If 5e puts out Starjammer, that might be better.
Anyway, Dorian,
Mm.
your eyes do open for real this time.
All right.
Your skin is wet. You hurt. There's pain all over. The taste of coppery blood in your mouth. You look to your right and you can see your companions all in a similar state on a boat somewhere.
I'm on a boat.
Thanks, Kevin.
Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
All on a boat. I'm going to leave that in like I did when Frakes did it. But the question somewhere strikes you as particularly poignant because you've not seen this sky before. It is a shade of light green, clouds shimmering with auras of orange. The air smells salty like you would be in the ocean, but there's another current, a weird, strange, unfamiliar smell to it that you've not smelled before. You see...
Can I struggle to my feet?
Mm-mm. You see flying in the sky, not birds, but an eel-like creature, small, but then you see that there's more and more of them. Feet start thudding towards you, small feet. You can tell that it's from a halfling. He stands over you, looking down, his face red, angry, his hair wet, his clothes dripping. And he just says, I can't believe I pulled you out the water, but I know I'm not ready to talk. And his tiny fist comes down to connect with the center of your forehead.
I waste him with my crossbow.
Knocking you unconscious yet again. What strange world will you guys wake up in next episode?
Oh, man.
Bull Island.
Sky
Bull Island.
Sky eels?
Sky
Eels.
Gross.
It's the
That's
Stormlight Archive.
Huh?
Yes,
That's where we are.
I find a glowing sphere and inhale sharply.
Yeah.
Can we please call this the Kashmir instead of the
castle?
Casimir.
We'll call it the Kashmir.
Kashmir.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh, God.
unfortunately, it's Kashmir by P. Diddy.
No, it was always by Zeppelin. P. Diddy just shat in it.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm referring to, though.
Ouch.
Oh.
Look at this jar full of gems. I'm gonna shit in it.
Just so you know, that halfling's not making it off of wherever the fuck we are.
I'm gonna insert
Just
a
so
clip
you know,
of
you need
Puff
to,
Daddy
you need to make
falling
use.
with doves flying out of his fucking jacket. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it was the worst Godzilla movie on top of it. So
The absolute worst.
all of this gold that we've done tonight, and that's where you want to take it at the end? You want to take it to the P. Diddy Godzilla soundtrack? That's where we're going?
Hey,
damn it, Kevin.
Well done, everybody, though, on your stuff. And I know at least half of us pulled that out of our ass within the last day or two.
Hey, what are you talking about?
I thought, I enjoyed it all. I enjoyed it all.
Don't reveal my secrets of procrastination.
I think we're a group of very talented people, and I'm glad I'm better than all of you. We will see you all. We'll see you all next week. Please check the links below for all the cool stuff.
Yep. Look below and stuff.
Season 2? What?
Thanks,
Season 2!
Patrons.
what?
Yes, thank you, patrons.
Totally down with the clown.
No. Bite down on this, for he gets off from your screams. And steps away.